Fulton here, time for another edition of the Stripe Show, and this week we're going on the golf course and we're going to talk about this short little pitch shot. Check it out. Oh! Woo! Hey guys.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Just getting ready for the tourney, man.
Tourney?
Yeah.
Where at?
Start up the road, a little scramble.
Little scramble?
Yeah.
This guy playing?
Oh yeah.
What you working on?
Working on that short game so I can make some more birdies this time.
Let's check it out.
Shooting for 18.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Can I help?
You know, I'd love some help, but right now, it's time for the Stripe Show. Travis Fulton.
Lego. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Stripe Show. I'm your host, Travis Fulton, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. I'll get that out. And look at this, the sun is out. It was so cold last week in Myrtle Beach, but not this week. The sun is out. It's a little bit windy. I know that it's winter some places in the United States, but you know what? Spring is coming. The golf season is ramping up, and you know our motto here at the Stripe Show, right? We're gonna keep getting better each and every week, which means you're gonna be getting better at the game of golf. So I'm gonna make a prediction here, guys. We're gonna get through this show with no issues, right? No audio, no video, 30 minutes of non-stop entertainment and good instruction. So let's go and get you striping it. How about the crew there repping the new PGA Tour campaign, Live Under Par? I love it, and I see out there in Twitter all of the people out there kind of bashing it a little bit. What about this? What about that? But you know what? My feeling on it is I like it. Kudos to the PGA Tour for embracing the next generation of golfers. I love the campaign. I love the graphics, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. And thanks for all those shirts from the PGA Tour. We're doing some sweet giveaways on my Twitter at Travis Fulton. So give me a follow there, and of course on my Instagram at Travis Fulton Golf. We're going to get right into it today. We've got so much to cover. We've got some golf swings to look at, full analysis coming your way, and we've got a really cool 14 strong where I'm going to take you out on the golf course, and we're going to do a little strategy with some technique today. But first, show us your swing, and first up is Justin right here in Jacksonville.
Hey Travis, I'm Justin from Jacksonville. Just trying to work on my distance. If you have any pointers or anything. Thanks.
All right, hey Justin, little distance, right? He doesn't want a little more power. You do a good job with the swing shape. Look at this club here going back. That's a nice position there. Good wrist hinge. And then you bring it down good. Look at this, comes right back down that same line. Good path into impact. And then good exit plane. So I love the shape of the swing. So I think trying to increase the speed is a great idea. So here's what I want you to do. When you take it back, I want to try to get this club all the way to parallel. And to do that, we've got to recruit a little bit more from your hips. Your legs right now are a little bit stagnant in your swing. So I want to get the right hip to turn a little bit more back so this left knee comes across more behind the ball. And what that'll do is it'll get the club parallel at the top. So I want to show you how to do that. Recruit more to get the club a little bit more complete into a full backswing. Now from there, when you come down, again, you do a nice job bringing the club down into a good position here. But when you swing through, I want to make sure that the weight is moving into the lead side, that left foot there, and then allow this right foot to come all the way up to the toe. And this for sure, getting this foot right here up to the toe and everything facing the target will for sure give you more speed. So let's work on getting a little bit more complete to the top of the swing, and then getting that good weight shift to a full finish where that right foot is up onto the toe. So let me show you how to do that. Justin, good stuff. I love the swing plane. Now, I know that when you miss it, the tendency is to hook the golf ball. So we're going to get in our spots here, and I want to show you a couple swings. And we're going to go to the target line. And what I mean by that swing plan or that swing shape is you're doing a good job of taking it up this line and then it's coming right back down that line. So pretty much kind of one direction. It's not going in here and then out this way. You're going up that line and then back down that line. Now, let's go back to face on here and get you a little more power and get rid of that hook. You got to get your legs going here. Watch my right hip. I'm going to get my right hip turning so this left knee can travel more across behind the ball. All right? So the right hip's turning, left knee's behind it. And as you do that and you turn your shoulders, I want you to try to get the club more to parallel. See this? My hands are higher. Right now, you're kind of stopping the club a little bit short. So get those legs working, get the club to parallel, and now from here, you're going to be able to get some weight going, and you're going to be able to turn and finish with that right foot all the way up onto the toe. Now, let's go back to the target line here one more time. So from this view here, we're going to take it up to the top, got my legs working, look at the club, parallel here at the top, good weight shift. Now watch my trail foot from here. You're going to see the cleats and the cheeks. Cheeks and cleats, baby. That's what you want. That's what's going to give you more power. It's going to support that club face, and I think it's going to straighten it out for you just a little bit. Really appreciate you sending in that video. Time for our second Show Us Your Swing. Check this one out. It's coming from our little guy, Nick. Hey, Nick, this is Travis here. Wow, really good swing, buddy. Doing some good things going back. Look at that club shaft, club face. Great position there at the top. And then I love this. Check this out as you come through impact. Launching off the ground. Beautiful stuff. Rotating. All kinds of speed. I love how you get after it through the impact zone. Now, I want to share with you two things. The first is, I want you to take this club shaft here, which is a bit upright at address, and I want you to lower it down. Get it just above the belt buckle, somewhere in that belly button area. That means you got to bow forward just a bit more, and that's a good checkpoint through the back. Now, the second thing is when you go to the top of the swing, make the same turn in the upper body, but I would say right now the majority of the pressure into the ground is out over your toes right now. I'd say your left knee has moved out over your toes there on your left foot, and really the same with your right knee. So the majority of the pressure is out over your toes. What I want you to do is I want you to get it more into your heels, and to do that, I want that left hip to draw more up and back, and as that happens, you'll lose some flexion in that left knee, and as you lose some flexion in that left knee, you'll feel more pressure getting down into your left heel, and that's where you want to be. And if you can do that, you're going to have even more power available to you as you rip it through the impact zone, which I absolutely love. So let me show you how to do that, bud. Hey, Nick, nice job. Love the golf swing. Whoever's teaching you, go up to them and thank them because they are doing a terrific job. I absolutely love the way that you get after it with your swing. You have a lot of speed through the hitting area, and that's one thing to all you parents out there with your kids. Make sure they're swinging it back full and that they're getting good speed through the impact zone. You can rein them in a little bit as far as accuracy as they grow older. Now, Nick, two things for you, big man. The first thing is from the target line view, what I want you to do is take this club shaft, not so upright, okay? I want you to lower it down a little bit, and that's going to allow you to bow forward just a little bit more. And again, that butt of the club, it's going to point just above the belt buckle. So not so much up in here, but kind of get it more down in here. Now, let's go to face on here. The second thing is I want you to load a little bit more into your trail side. Now, you're a lefty, right? I'm going to go ahead and go right-handed here. So when I turn and I get myself kind of working this way, I want to get a little bit more back into my trail heel. Right now, you're a little bit out over your toe. Let's go back to the target line here for a second. And you look at this here, you can kind of see all that flexion in your knee. If anything, you kind of add flexion and you kind of get out over your toes here. So let that knee kind of straighten up a little bit, right? Go ahead and let that leg straighten up and let that pressure go back into the heel. I feel myself turn back into my right heel, and then you know what you're going to do from there? You're just going to unleash it just like you are right now. You're doing a great job. I love seeing the junior videos coming in. Keep them coming. Send your swing to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. Now, we're going to move on to a new segment here in the Stripe Show. It's called the 18 Birdies app feature. There's so many cool things in the app. We're going to start featuring the components of the app. And the first thing I'd like to talk about this week is the GPS. Check it out. One of the things that I like about the 18 Birdies app is the GPS feature. You can simply get distances to anywhere on the golf course. All you have to do is drag the target around and tap the different places on the hole to show exactly how far you are to that particular point. These distances consider elevation, wind, temperature, and humidity. Knowing your distance with each club is critical to playing the very best that you can. You can do all of that with the GPS feature. If you know your distances, then you can play to your strengths and eliminate all of the trouble. Let's move forward to the 18th hole at Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. I want to play short of those bunkers there on the right-hand side. How far are they? Well, I'm going to drag my little target to there, 272 yards. My 5-wood travels about 255, so I'm going to lay up short of those bunkers with my 5-wood, leaving me about 170 yards to the flag, playing to my strength and eliminating all of the trouble. This is a great part of the 18 Birdies app. Go premium today to get these advanced GPS features. So many cool features in the 18 Birdies app. The GPS is the best in the business. It's going to help you with your distances so you can play to your strengths and eliminate all of those troubled areas. So check it out and go premium. Now, time for 14 strong. This is a segment that we do each and every week here on the Stripe Show. So I've got 14 clubs in here, right? Some of them we hit good, some of them we hit bad, some of them we got to use more than others. And this week, we're going to go on the golf course because that's what we do here on the Stripe Show is we take you on the golf course and we're going the 56-degree wedge, 3 different shots, some technique, some strategy. So let's go. All right, I made it up to the green here. Really good pin location down on this bottom shelf by the water. This is a good sized green as we pan out and walk up the slope here. I've got 3 scenarios for you that we're going to cover. A little technique and strategy. The first one you can see up here in the first cut. Got a pretty good lie, but I'm going downhill towards that water. The 3 things that I'm going to give you for that low chip, I want the club face square, I want the club shaft to be just a little bit upright, and then I want your body, the sternum, to be over the ball. Make sure your shoulders are level. Don't get yourself back here like this. Now, in the motion, an extended putting stroke, letting your chest open up to the target. Club face square, club shaft upright, shoulders nice and level, and then from there, extended putting stroke back and through. Came out low, it's going to have a little check to it and running out. Okay, so that's scenario number 1. Let's come around the corner here, just short of the green. You can see this one here as I walk down the slope here. Scenario 2, about the same distance, but I've got to go up and over this little knob here and then back down the hill. That's scenario number. Second shot, the medium trajectory, okay, the one that we had to get up a little higher, had a little more spin on it. 3 things here, club face a little open, club shaft now a little forward, and when you get in here like this, what I want you to do is I want this lead wrist to hinge and rotate the face open. See that there? Left wrist hinged, rotates the face open, but not a lot of arm swing, okay? So here we go, club face open, club shaft forward. I'm going to hinge and rotate that face. And then look at my chest turning through. Once again, like that of the chipping motion. So some similarities there to the low chip, but what's different, face is open, shaft's a little more forward, and we're going to really work that left hand. Hinge it, rotate the face, but I'm going to go with it much of the same way with my chest towards the target. Up a little higher, it's got a little check to it, and then it's going to run. Scenario number 2. And then finally, as we get down here, this one came up a little short. Got this big green side bunker in front of me, and you can see this is a difficult shot here where I've got to go over this bunker and very little green. Go to the lob shot, and you can hit your lob shot with your 56, 58, and of course you can hit it with your 60 as well if you have that. 3 things. Well, first thing, we know the club face is open, right? We're going to bypass that. I want the shaft down low, okay? Get the shaft low this way. So we're going to go low with the shaft. We're going to get in here, and we're going to kind of lean into the lead foot with the weight. And then we're going to go big arm swing in both directions. Big, but kind of soft, right? Soft. Here we go. Shaft low. We're going to lean into it a little bit. Big arm swing. And look at that. Pops it straight up in here. Again, I'm out here on the range. I've taken the target out of the scenario. I'm focusing on technique. All of these shots have went about the same distance, but very different trajectory. Here we go again. Shaft low. I'm going to lean into it. You can see my feet are definitely wider now. Nice big swing. Look at that. Pops it straight up in the air and down, nice and soft. Low, medium, high. Different shots around the green. Ask yourself this question every time you have a short game shot. Can you putt it? If the answer is no, ask yourself if you can chip it. If the answer is no, ask yourself if you can pitch it. If the answer is no, you got to lob it, right? Have fun with those shots. Work on them here on the driving range. Work on them over there in the short game area, and you're going to get it up and down more often. All right, good. I love that segment there, 14 strong. We go out on the golf course, real examples, right? You got to learn technique, but then you got to take that technique and what the shot is providing and then go out there and talk about the strategy. We're going to be doing that a lot more here in the spring, in the summer, taking you to the course in real situations. Now, email us, thestripeshow@18birdies.com. What club do you want to see? What particular shot would you like to have some help with? And we'll look to fit that into the show. But right now, let's move on. Time to go to another segment here of Show Us Your Swing. And this time, it's Hogan in Idaho. All right, hey Hogan, thanks for the video. I recognize that range and that weather. Thanks for sending this in, and I understand you're struggling with a push hook from time to time. Now, I've got that green line out in front of you there, up the target line. Imagine, you know, someone was standing like right here and holding this club shaft out with this head cover right here out in front of you, okay? Now, what's gonna happen here is when you swing through, right? And you can see your hands are starting on the inside of that line. But when you swing through, watch where your hands go. Your hands are going to trace very much out, right? So the path of your hands is going out. That's going to stand the club shaft up a little bit more than we want. And that's going to get the path of the club working too much out to the right. So you can get some pushes, and then of course if the face closes down, you can get some nice draws. If it over shuts down, then you get some hooks. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to get something out in front of you there just above your hands and just up the target line. So you get the sensation that when you swing through, that you've got to get your hands to return lower and more to the left. And what's going to happen to do that is, instead of your hips wanting to come in, your left hip should clear more out of the way. Okay, you should feel more weight kind of back in through the heels, the left hip turning more out of the way, the left shoulder turning back more, and that'll allow you to get your hands to swing closer to you, lower, and more to the left, missing that green line. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. More of a left exit plane, but sometimes just putting that head cover or something out in front of your hands will give you a good sensation of that lower left exit, and that should get the ball to start more on line with less hook. All right, Hogan, good looking golf swing. I understand you're hitting a little bit of a push, right? And then from there it's hooking back. So I've got my caddy here. I've brought him in. Get one of your buddies or get your dad off the couch and get him up and have him stand right there with the head cover. All right, and we're going to position this just a little bit to the outside of the hands and then up the target line. See how I did that? So about a hand's width, right, from my left hand, and then my hand's width up that way. All right, and we're going to go a little higher, about right in there, just above my hands. Now that's there to help you when you swing through, that you don't want your hands to run into that, right? So your hands aren't going to go down the line and then up high like this, but your hands are going to come in lower. Right, see that? My hands are going to come in lower and then back around here to the left. All right, so I like this here. You can set something up, put your bag there and kind of lay it across, but that's about the distance that you want it. Now, one more thing for you, Hogan. Make sure that when you take the club head back, I take it just a little bit more out here as well. Okay, so don't let it go in here. Just keep it a little bit more out in front of you. That'll get the club just a little bit more in this position where it's kind of over here to the left. And then from there, you can bring it down and get your hands to return back low into the left. And you'll probably feel some things there in your hips. They'll stay back more to help things turn the corner, get the path working more to the left and less out to the right. And that's what you need to do to get that starting line a little bit better. So I like that swing. Work on it. Spring is coming. Time for another swing, and show us your swing. This time it's Jim, another lefty.
Send that one in.
Hey Jim, thanks so much for the video. You got a very good swing. I really like a lot of the components in your swing. Nice and full to the top. Look at that parallel. You do a good job of leaning into the right foot and then turning around that. And when you have good weight shift and you rotate nicely, usually you'll get some forward shaft lean, which you have. And then all of that just carries into a nice full finish. So lots of good stuff there, Jim. What I'm going to encourage you to do is I'm going to encourage you to get your left hip to work a little bit more back that way and a little less lateral that way. I think if anything, your left hip might be just moving a little too lateral to the top. And I'm going to encourage you to get your left hip to rotate a little deeper back into the left heel. And just looking at your position here at the top, I have a feeling that might even structure the right arm a little bit better and get the club shaft in an even better position at the top of the swing. So left hip, instead of moving lateral to the top so much, we're going to get it to turn, get a little deeper turn into that left heel, and I think that'll be a nice piece of the puzzle to complement, which is a nice downswing into a good balanced position. So let me show you how to do that. All right, Jim, thanks so much for the swing. Really good stuff. We've had two lefties today. I love it. Remember, the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. That's where you send your swing to, and we'll get it here on the show. Now, Jim, a couple things here. The first thing is I want you to take this same little dowel here, or this little alignment rod, put it in the ground just off your trail leg here. Now, I'm going to do it right-handed because left-handed I'd be all over the place. So I've got it nice and snug here to my trail hip. Now, when I set up here, I want your hip, your trail hip, I don't want it to go quite as high this way. It looks a little high from that camera angle. It might be kind of drifting this way. All right, I want this hip to turn and stay a little bit more inside of this post. You might even create just a little bit of a gap there. See that little space right in there? And I think that'll be good for you because it looks like that hip might be drifting a little that way. Now, let's go to the target line view. And what that's gonna offer you from the target line is when that hip turns a little bit deeper back in here, your lead arm can get a little bit more, I think, around your body. And right now it might be a little too much up in here, but I think that left arm will get in a better spot. I think you'll be a little bit more loaded into that trail heel. And from there, I would just let it go. I love your downswing, good sequence, good forward shaft lean, and a nice finish. So I like those two things for you. Work on that hip with the post, get that trail arm just a little bit deeper, and then off you go. Some really good swings here today on the Stripe Show. Keep them coming. We're gonna get to them each and every week. And now we're gonna step away from the video and we're gonna go to the text and we're gonna start answering some of your questions. So here we go. The first one is gonna come from John Lambert. If you are pulling it left, how do you stop it, right? All right, let's go back to that target line view. How do you stop it if I'm pulling it to the left? All right, so I'm gonna take this club here, I'm gonna put it on the ground, and that's gonna be my target line. So get framed up with that guy right there. Now, if we're pulling it, then we know the club face is pointing to the left at impact, right? So it's coming in at some point, that club face, when I strike it, is pulling to the left. Now, the path has a little bit to do with that, and most of the time a pull comes from when a player gets going too much this way. So I get the club going in delivery, right? You can see how that club's in delivery, that club heads out there, and then that path gets going so far to the left that it makes the face point to the left. So there's a chance that we might have to get the path a little bit more from in here so the face looks a little bit down the target line. If you're a slicer of the ball, kind of drifts to the right, that's probably the case. But if you also hit some hooks, there is a chance that that club could be coming too much from the inside, and then that face just over rotates and makes it start to the left. So think about your curve. If you kind of fade it, slice it with that pull, I would work the path a little bit more from the inside in here, and that should fix it in getting started down the target line. Great question. Question number 2. We're going to Monty. What causes you to top the ball in the fairway? All right, let's go back to face on here. What causes you to top the ball? Now, we know we want a descending attack angle, right? We want this club head to be striking down. And what I see, Monty, as we're in the fairway, is I see players with their spine angle, okay, when they come down into impact, you see their spine start to kind of go to the left a little bit. They kind of get going to the left, and then their spine kind of falls. It goes a little bit forward. So when they turn, they're out in front of it, and the club head swings kind of over the top of it this way, all right? And it's hard to hit down because you run out of room and your arms start to break down. We want our arms to lengthen out, right? That's gonna help the club head move down. So what I want you to feel is that when you come down into impact here, I want you to feel like your spine has a little bit of just this right bend. See this little right bend here going this way? Not this way, okay? And when you're into the right here, it's not a bunch, but a little bit of right bend, and you turn through, now feel a little extension. See my spine here? I got a little extension in my lower back. So don't go to the left and down. Stay a little to the right and extend, and now look at my arms. I can let them lengthen out, and now the club head wants to strike down. Just doing those little movements like that, hitting some little shots will help you strike the club head down into the ground and top it to the left. Really a good question. Next one, Joel Green, best way to improve from 100 yards on in. Now, the best way to improve from 100 yards on in, technically, is to learn how to deliver kind of a consistent loft to the club, to the golf ball at impact. So let's go ahead and pan back out here. We're gonna go face on. And what I mean by that, so many of you, when you come into impact, we're getting a little bit of this throwaway here, right? Okay, so we come in, we kind of throw the wrist a little bit. That adds loft to the face. So I've got my pitching wedge, which is 46 degrees, and I come in and I add 6 degrees, right? And then the next time the shaft's neutral, I take away those 6 degrees. And then the next time I lean it forward, I de-loft it 3 or 4 degrees, right? Well, that's hard to gain control of that distance. How fast does my body need to turn? So what you need to work on is really educating those hands coming into impact where the right wrist is bent, the left wrist is flat, and you're just hitting shots, controlling that shaft lean and rotating the body through. So let's go to the target line here real quick. Okay, and I want to show you from this view here. So in the impact position, right wrist bent, left wrist flat, you can see how the shaft is leaning forward, right? And just hitting shots doing that first, right? Just turning through, right? Learning how to control those hands, educate those hands, and then you can start to take it to 9 o'clock, same thing. And then you can take it up to 10 o'clock, same thing. And eventually your hands will release on the other side, but educating those hands, a consistent shaft angle, a consistent face angle will allow you then to kind of control the speed and the trajectory time and time again. So that's a really, really good question. Now let's take one more. Woo, good stuff, good stuff. Jim McCarthy, how can I bomb it like DJ? Jeez, I don't even know if I have all of that, but I'm gonna take a stab at it here, I think. I'm gonna take a stab at how do I bomb it like DJ? Well, the first thing is you have to have the capabilities of swinging 125 miles an hour. And I'm gonna say that 99.9% of us, we probably don't have that in us. But when you look at DJ's swing, right, and you look at where he starts to kind of accumulate some power, let's go ahead and pan back out here. I'm gonna go to the target line. The first thing is that trail leg, and I talk about this a lot here in the Stripe Show, is letting the right knee lose some flexion, right? Let the right knee lose some flexion where I straighten up the right leg and you see my hip climb up, right? And you see DJ, his right leg's getting taller this way, up. He doesn't keep it down like this. This movement up like this, my spine extending, countered with that bowed left wrist, really puts him in a very powerful position to then come into impact where you're seeing big time rotation and a bowed left wrist that is going up this way, right? He's hitting up on it, all right? So a bowed left wrist, this flat left wrist, not cupped, can deal off that face, and as you come down into impact and you're taking that wrist and you're really pushing up off the ground, hitting it on an upward attack angle with that kind of wind up in the right hip, hey, may not be worth 125 miles an hour, right, or 325 off the tee. But I think, let's go back to face on here, I think it'll allow you to increase some speed. It'll allow you to hit up on it, launch it a little higher with a little less spin. So there's some things we can even take away from world number one. All right, so thanks for the questions. Keep sending them in. We're gonna get to more and more of those here on the Stripe Show. But before we let you go, it's time to finish up with a little something that we call the 60-second swing fix. So, J-Man, we got a timer there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. So let's pan back out. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna have to hit one. They're out there mowing. Everything looks so good. And the 60-second swing fix is gonna be the driver, and it's where the distance meets the accuracy, and it's these wrist angles that I just talked about. Here's what I want you to do. Once you set up here, I want you to take it up to the top of the swing. And what I want you to do, I want you to take this left hand and I want you to curl it like this. I want you to curl that left hand. See how I'm doing that? Don't cup it, right? So we're gonna go up there, we're gonna kind of curl that left hand, we're gonna pinch that right elbow. That really puts the left wrist flat and the right wrist bent. That's how I want you to have your wrist angles at the top. And when I come down, I still have that. I'm not pulling down, cupping the wrist. Again, that's gonna deal off the face, and it's gonna close the face a little bit, and it's gonna allow things to match up a little bit better for you through impact. So here we go. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. We're here, and then we let it go. Oh yeah. There it is. That's where distance meets accuracy, right there in the wrist angles. You can do so much at the top, just like DJ. You can incorporate it into your swing, get a little more distance and a little bit more accuracy. Hey, thanks so much. We've had a great time here on the Stripe Show at Jacksonville Golf and Country Club. We're gonna be back next week, same time. It's the Zurich Classic week, one of my favorite weeks.
They really go after it, and there's going to be a best ball, and they're going to have some music incorporated into that. And I think we might be doing kind of the same thing next week here on the Stripe Show as well, so you're not going to want to miss that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week. See ya!